Great day, family and friends. Welcome to another episode of Dr. Wilson Speaks Live. So I am so excited to have you in this podcast today. In this live broadcast today. And we are getting ready to jump into some good topics that we're going to talk about tonight, right? So we are going to discuss this viral picture, if you will, of a student who graduated from FAMU, and she took a picture in a, let's say, less than what some people consider appropriate, or by some people's standards, she was just fine. In whatever case, we're going to talk about this issue. But here's what I will tell you. What we don't want to do is we don't want to disrespect or drag the student. Our goal here tonight is to talk about the issues and the implications to our community. I have here a great panel tonight, right? And let me go ahead and warn you, this is a panel. And I am going to throw a disclaimer out there. I cannot be responsible for anything that happens here tonight. So let me go ahead and put that disclaimer out there. But I am really excited about tonight's broadcast, and all of my friends are here, especially those that I've worked with in academia, my Alpha brothers. Man, listen, my community partners, these are my friends, and we are getting ready to talk about this subject. And I can't tell you if we're going to stay in this conversation or if it's going to head from there. Only thing I can tell you is hold on to your seats, because it is getting ready to go down. So let me introduce this panel. First up is my good friend, my brother, whom I've shared an office with, right? So you can imagine the times that we've had in this space. My friend, my brother, Dr. Arkeel Stark. He is the Dean of Students. I'm going to let him go ahead and introduce himself very briefly. Dr. Stark.
Greetings, everyone. I just want to let you know my name is Dr. Arkeel Stark. I'm a Dean of Operations at a particular university. I would keep it anonymous because we don't know how deep or how expressive that this conversation may happen or holistically happen throughout the course of the night. So I want to make sure that I keep my institution out of the equation. So therefore, I'm just going to say that I am the Dean of Operation at a institution.
That tells you it's about to go down, and he is being so reserved right now. I want you all to know that's not the Dr. Stark I know. So next up is my friend, my colleague, my partner in crime. If I can't do or say anything, she is coming through. That is Dr. Latrice Flint. Welcome, Dr. Flint. Give a brief introduction of yourself.
I gotta sound bougie because your intro was a lot. I had to fix my hair again. Hello, how you all doing today? It was a tool. Did you see that, Dr. Stark? It was all the way live. I am Dr. Latrice Flint, and I work with Dr. Wilson at Outreach Community Care Network. I can put ours out because we hood anyway, so I can say my.
So next up is my brother, who will take you from 0 to 100 very quickly. And it happens just like that. But he is passionate. He is an advocate in the community. Him, as he put his name, Dr. Earl Mowat. Go ahead and introduce yourself, my brother.
Yeah, Brother Wilson, thank you, first of all, for that disclaimer at the beginning, because, yeah.
He done muted himself already.
You went out, Dr. Mowat. Fix the sound as we keep going. So I'm going to go ahead and jump next to my friend. And this is one of those friends that you don't put on speakerphone without telling her she's on speakerphone, because you have no idea what she's going to say or how she's going to say it. So I'm going to welcome to the stage the baddest pharmacy I know, pharmacist I know, Dr. Tanya Williams.
Whoa, that's my introduction, huh? Hi, guys. Thank you so much, Chester, for inviting me to this. I'm very passionate about what I do professionally, personally, anything relating to us, I'm passionate about, good or bad. I have opinions. We all do, but it comes from a place, it comes from a good place. So you're going to get it. You ask, I'm going to give it.
And she's a rattler.
Let's do it. And I'm a rattler. Oh, yes, I'm a rattler. I will say our school is illustrious, not illustrious. Okay? So y'all keep the jokes to yourself.
It's already starting. It's already starting.
You know it has. But it's all good, though. It's all good. Every moment is a teachable moment.
Welcome, Doc. Dr. Mowat, are you here with us? You can hear us okay?
Yeah, can you hear?
You are back. Then you went out.
It's your earpiece. Check your earpiece. Check your text messages. Oh.
So next is the judge of all judges. He is a pioneer, and he has set the stage for everyone that comes behind him. He is a mentor. He's just all around a community guy. And I've had the pleasure recently of having him in class, so you know what type of fear that was. It's my friend, my favorite judge, Judge Hubert Grimes.
Thank you, Dr. Wilson. I see some familiar faces here this afternoon, so it's great to be with you all. I think I'm the only one that doesn't have doctor in front of their names, so I'm doing my best to try to hang out with all these learned individuals and see what we can get accomplished tonight. Thank you again.
I think we can. Last but certainly not least, this is the historian that everybody should know. And let me tell you, the party does not start until he arrives. And he will arrive late, but he will get there. Right, Dr. Mowat? He will arrive late. So let's welcome to the stage Dr. Anthony Dixon.
Good evening. How we doing?
All right. That's the introduction.
Oh, I'm sorry. My name is Dr. Anthony Dixon. I am a historian and an archivist by trade. I am the founder and president of Archival and Historical Research Associates, a historical research firm that works with archival material.
Well, welcome, Doc. I'm glad to have you. So we are going to jump right in, right? We're just going to dive in. So as I said before, while we're talking about this issue of the young lady who took the picture on FAMU's campus, I don't want to drag her, and this is not about dragging her, but this is about an issue that is within our community. And we want to talk about the implications within our communities. Is this socially acceptable? Did she make a damaging move with her career? So we really just want to talk about these issues. So the first question that I have is, what was your thought when you first saw this picture? What first came to mind?
Well, I was going to step out and say that tonight I was so excited about being here. I was going to wear her outfit tonight, but then I saw Judge Grimes coming on. So I just want to put that closure out there. Okay, y'all can talk.
It's already starting.
Was that the hair that she had on that you're referring to, or that's her outfit?
It was her outfit, yeah, outfit. Yes, sir. I was going to put the outfit on, but then I saw that you were going to be on. So
you're so kind. Thank you.
So what's your thoughts? What is that initial knee-jerk reaction that came to mind? There's some crackling coming from somewhere.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right, so I guess I'll have the mic. I just kind of took it, right? So I'm going to go run with it. So to me, this was like much ado about nothing, right? Because first of all, why are we judging this young lady? That's the first thing, right? That I thought. But even more so than that is this. For me, the first thing I noticed was the snake, right? Besides the nudity, the first thing I knew was snake coming out of here, right? But what she did was represent Medusa, right? Medusa, and Medusa was a badass, right? So if we extract from Greek mythology, Medusa pushed back against a story that seeks to place male and its center, making him blameless and heroic. But she was not having that, right? So with one glare, she turned them into stone. And not only was she a badass, she was a badass feminist. And that's what I took from that picture, that this young lady was a badass feminist. And the nudity aside, but at the end of the day, we see that, especially in contemporary society, with all these, pop icon celebrities that's doing the same thing. She's just emulating them.
Latrice, your face is telling it all. Jump in.
No. Before Latrice jumps in, I gotta jump in front of it. All right. On this particular thing, I don't usually coincide with Alpha, but at the same time, my brother Earl has it on point. All right. So although it was a perceived nudity picture, she didn't show anything that constitute as XXX, right? But at the same time, she exercised the freedom that we are giving, that we are bestowing onto this particular generation, that allows them to speak out in voices. Now, some of the things that she hit that she's receiving from a negative aspect, where we're looking at old school traditionalists are saying that this is a black mark on black society. It set us back. It's a detrimental to HBCU or whatever the case may be. She's exercising the rights that she should have had years ago. All right. My only concern to her is that a lot of us put in the groundwork in order for her to be able to express herself in this particular function. All right. My only concern to her is that, correct me if I'm wrong, to my understanding, she's an education major. All right.
Education counseling.
Because she's in academia is not that forgiving. So if she was a digital resources or marketing or artistic or something along the lines that allow her to profess or show her freedom of expression, I wouldn't have any concern. But when we're talking about you going into academia, whether it's K through 12 or undergrad through the graduate level, unfortunately your past dictates your future. All right. So we're seeing athletes have held accountable for tweets that they made back in 2008, 2009, when they were only like 11, 12 years old. The same thing's going to happen to this young lady, that she did this provocative photo, and she's trying to make a way in, whether it's in academia, K through 12, or at the graduate level or university level. That particular picture will follow and hunt her and stunt her career going forth. Now, as of that, I'm going to let it go. I'm going to let my fellow Seminole.
But I would add in there that she is not just education; she's education counseling. So she had made a previous post that I read through her through one of her social media accounts, that she was going to join the 4% of Black counselors to add to the field so that she can, go out and counsel African Americans. So,
and I think she'd be an asset to African American to express their views, their opinion. Because you got to also understand that if you look at the hierarchy and the way that America is set up, we've been taught the damn shut up and dribble the damn basketball for far too long. All right. So for her to get out there and express herself, I am kudos and clapping my hands on that for multiple reasons. One, as a male, and as an advocate of free expression. Okay.
Stop him, Dr. Williams.
The second piece is,
it is amazing. I'm gonna let Dr. Tanya say the next. It is amazing. First,
you have more?
First thing they saw was her hair. I would say a BS in a different way, but it's amazing how two grown men saw it.
Wait, hold on. Are you finished, Dr. Stark?
Take it.
Let me give you the tidbit caveat on the end of that particular statement. All right. So like I'm applauding this girl to step out. She knew that some type of controversy would happen, but at the same time, she may not grasp the scale of what has happened. Now, like I said, if she was in fashion, she's an artist or a photographer
Or
or
creative.
anything within those realms, this would propel her career. But the fact that she's in academia, whether it's K through 12 or any function of traditional academia, it will stunt her because a lot of universities, we all know, because most of us work for various universities, will not accept her on because of the backlash of the background of what's going on. Now, if she's working in K through 12, a lot of parents, PTA, very conservative individuals will say that I don't want this person talking to my child. And we also know we're in a society, although various types of identity, whether it's LBTQ. I'll let Dr. Earl speak out the rest of the acronyms that go along with it. But the point is that we have to accept those individuals as a person. So if you are an ultra conservative, especially in my state, in the great state of Florida, we have Governor Santas, putting out, that the non-woke act to prevent people from talking about different cultures, different backgrounds, different struggles that they went through. So all of that is a part of what we have access to today. We have the freedom to express our beliefs, but we see coming out the woodwork because of social media, because of all of these platforms that we have, whether it's Twitch, Facebook, Instagram, or whatever the case may be. We have anybody able to be a keyboard gangster. And when they want to be able to be a keyboard gangster, they're able to throw out the stuff. So a lot of people are just jealous, player hating on certain degrees, as well as some people may think like, actuality, we trying to be accepted and brought to the table, but we can't be brought to the table when we have individuals like this who set us away from the table. So I understand both aspects of it, but I just think that she did a disservice to herself because she's in the K through 12 academic realm, and they're not as forgiving as if you was in other ventures and other avenues.
I told the audience there would be differing views tonight.
Okay.
We're listening.
So one of my absolute favorite movies growing up as a child, I think this movie came out in '78, was Clash of the Titans. And that's when we were first introduced to Miss Medusa. Even Medusa had on clothes in that movie. I am okay. I loved her hair. In fact, my children informed me of what was going on. My children were pretty much more offended than I was. And my son he'll probably be graduating next summer. So he's a sophomore going into his junior year because he went in with so many credits. My daughter's a junior at Mainland. My son is at FAMU. They brought it to my attention and they were very upset. They said it was wrong. And I agree with them because I saw what she was trying to do. She was going for the Medusa look. The hair was great. I'm a creative. She should have spoken with someone. Only thing she had to do was put on one of those mermaid tails, cut those fins off, boom, you got your snake legs, put yourself on a little bra there, girl. Aaliyah, queen of the dam. Great. All know how beautiful Aaliyah was. So she didn't have to go that far. Yes, I'm for feminism. I'm for you expressing yourself. But why didn't she do this at FIU? Why is this the first time we're seeing her at FAMU doing something like this? Obviously, and if you go and look at her page, this is all this girl does. She's a twerk queen. She's a rap queen. Why have we never seen any of this type of behavior at the PWI? Why? Why did she have to do it at FAMU? Why did she choose that? Yes, she has a big butt. Good for her. But it's a time and place for everything. And that statue, and to do it in the cover of Night, she knew it was wrong. So, girl, do you. But there are better ways she could have gone about it. It's beyond her. It's not about you at that point. Because I went back and saw a picture of her in an afro, FAMU sweater, bell bottom, before this post, with a post of Angela Davis along with that story. And then you go to this. So there's something else going on with this girl. Let's forget about the picture. Something else is going on with her, and that's what we need to get to the bottom of. As far as her expressing herself, she could have done that on a regular photo shoot on her own time, but not at that statue. Would you guys be okay with her doing that at Mary McLeod statue?
Let's be clear. Nobody wants to take a picture in front of Mary McLeod statue. Okay, no one wants to.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether she did or didn't. She had the opportunity to do. She like I said, if she wanted to be Medusa, be Medusa. Medusa was not naked. She wasn't. She had a snake tail.
Medusa
we didn't see Medusa's butt. We did not. So I don't know. Sis was wrong. She was wrong on that one. And we can talk some more about it, but that's my 2 cents right now.
I want to say this piece.
And I'll be glad when it's
I want to say this piece. When I graduated from Florida State, all right, Latrice can attest to this because we both graduated from Florida State Seminoles, all right. I am a diehard Gator. Anyone knows me, I am a diehard Gator. I was born and raised in Gainesville, Florida. So when I walked across the stage at my Florida State graduation, I had nothing but Gator apparel underneath my my cap and gown. All right. So when I got across the stage, received my degree, what did I proceed to do? I opened up my cap and gown to show that I was a diehard Gator. To me, at that time, I thought it was important for me to make a statement to let everybody know where my allegiance, my line, and stay at, whatever the case may be. And I looked at that the degree did not have a mascot. Okay, but fast forward to now and my later years, I look at it. Yeah, that was very disrespectful on my end, but I was allowed to have that expression, that freedom. People keep saying what PWI would do and stuff. A lot of PWIs really allow their students, because people go to college in order to be able to express themselves, to expand their knowledge, to expand their wherewithal, their world, or whatever the case may be. All right, all of us have some type of particular point where we went from our small community, whether it's in Palaca, Florida.
Watch your mouth.
Palaca, Florida, or Miami, Tampa, or whatever the case may be, and able to ingratiate ourselves in a world that's different from what we come from. So I'm not shunning her. I mean, I can understand tastefulness, but sometimes it's better to ask for forgiveness than to ask for permission, because I'm satisfied she'd have went to the administration and say, hey, I want to perform this photo shoot at 2:00 at night because of the risque of the photo. I'm pretty sure they would have shut that down immediately. All right. So
maybe she should have had some friends.
Well, she didn't ask permission, nor is she forgiven. I'm sorry, she's not.
Go ahead, jump in, Dr. Moa.
Yeah, look.
You went out.
That's the Lord telling him something.
Go ahead and jump in, Judge Grimes.
I actually wanted to hear what Dr. Latrice said, if I may. She's on edge. I want to hear her first.
Go ahead, Treese. Tell them, girl.
Well, I was going to say, Dix, did you want to say something? Him and that little burner phone is going through something right now. I don't understand.
I don't know if Earl can speak.
Earl been sticking his finger up like, now he ain't been in church forever, but he got that finger up like the church finger.
Can we hear you, Earl?
You got the church finger now. There you go, Dixon. Are you back on? Can you hear us, Dixon? Did you have something to say first? You gonna say that you like the snakes too instead of the obvious?
I think he having some technical difficulties.
Yeah, I think so.
And Earl,
go ahead, Latrice.
So, well, let me ask y'all this: Is it because of because I was looking at comments too. You know, some people call it being observant. I just call it nosy. So I was reading all the comments while we were talking about it, and a lot of people are basically saying because it's based on the school itself, like it's more disrespecting to the school. So are you all are we upset because she took the picture at the school, or would it have been different if she took the picture somewhere else? I guess that's the question.
I think for me, honestly, I look at it two ways, and as you know, I'm out here helping people to develop professionally. So of course, I have a different opinion myself, whereby if I'm helping you to dress to improve yourself professionally, I'm looking for you to walk the part of what it is that you're trying to do. And to Dr. Stark's comment, if she was trying to be a rapper, if she was trying to be a stripper, then it fits that line of work. However, in this case, her degree is in educational counseling. And as a non practicing counselor, would I hire this person to come in here and counsel? Because let's think about this in this manner. As a counselor, you're helping me to deal with my most severe issues. You're talking about severe and persistent mental illness. You're talking about grief. You're talking about just daily living and coping. So how can I therapeutically deal with those when I'm sitting in front of you and the only thing I can see is your naked body? So I don't want to drag her. I'm just saying what you didn't line up with what you went to school for. And I don't know any, I don't, and don't get me wrong, because there is a population that will go to her for counseling. There's always a population. There's always an amen corner. But in a professional setting, you all, in your professional role, everyone that's on here, would you sit in front of her as a counselor?
Now,
Can y'all hear me?
I want some clarification now. I didn't say that she was working at P Valley as a stripper. What I said was,
But she would be good, though.
I said as a designer, a photographer.
She brought the paint, the FAMU. You know it.
Right.
Can y'all hear me?
Dr. Wilson, you said stripper, okay? I didn't say stripper, okay?
Well, I'm sorry, I take that. But see, look, one of our comments, Chantel said, we can't do what other folks do. So
Amen.
Go ahead, Dr. Moa.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. All right, sorry. My whole system is like dead, right? So I'm going to go ahead and use this. I think one thing that we're forgetting is I don't know, human agency, right? And autonomy. Look, she's not a young person, right? She is allowed to make these decisions on her own, whether right or wrong. Now, I'm not going to judge and say that this is, I think, first of all, that society in general has a very, she is allowed to make, I think that a society, was that coming in reverb?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I think that first of all, society, we just have an unhealthy regard to sexuality, nudity, and things like that, right? To begin with. But I think that we look at this, but that was one of a series of photos, which were all beautifully done, right? She had the throwback to the 70s, she had the Medusa, she had the evening gown, but we focus on the nudity. But when you look at it within that series, they were beautifully captured photos, right? So, and going back to, I do want to go to, because I feel that that's an exemplar of feminism, right? The young lady, she appropriated Medusa's look. She did, without a doubt, right? But what she did was she amplified that feminist mystique with sex positivist dynamism. So sex positivism, that's an artifact of third wave feminist movement from the early 1990s, I think, to 2020. And it sought to change cultural attitudes around sexuality and promoting the recognition of sexuality in its forms of expressions as a natural and healthy part of human experience. And we see iterations of that in today's what? Iconic Black mega celebrities and influencers. We see that, right? And where's the condensation? I mean, where's the condemnation of them? I'm talking about people like, Beyonce, Rihanna, Megan Thee Stallion, Cardi B, that are doing the same exact thing. And what's happened is that these Black Gen Zers, right, because I guess she falls in that category, they exalt these iconic Black women as the culture and everything they do as revolutionarily dope. Right? Let's think about that, right? And all these sets of values and behaviors they see, well, then they are likely to eventually view these values or behaviors as natural or normal and then adopt them in their own lives. And that's what she did. So was there anything wrong with that? I say if you see these pop cultural icons doing it, right?
it's permissible within their value base, but might not be in ours.
Like, I agree with Dr. Earl. Like, I don't see anything wrong that she did. Only thing that I see that's wrong that that she may have damaged her ability to her trajectory if she's going into academia, was academia counseling or so forth. Because, like I mentioned, you are held accountable for what you do and versus what you did in the past. Because they like to see, like, you don't want anyone who has any type of controversy or risque and stuff, because she did not show any sexual body part. We just knew that she wasn't wearing any clothing. She did it very artistically, and if you look at like the photography of the camera and stuff, it was a very quality photo shoot. So for that being said, that it's true art to a certain degree, but the uproar is the fact that let's be honest, the uproar is not that she did these pictures, is the uproar that she did it in front of the FAMU Rattlers iconic bronze snake, which in turn attaches her to a historically Black university and college. Okay, so that's the thing that's creating the uproar. Because honestly, if she would have uploaded these pages and stuff and she did it down the street or in front of some particular river or whatever the case may be, we wouldn't be having this discussion. It's just because it makes it associated with a historically Black college. We have some traditionalists and old school individuals who look at it as like, oh, you're setting Black people back. We have some progressive people and New World people saying that, oh, it's freedom of expression. But we got to also understand that you're allowed to express yourself. And we understand in America that the freedom of speech or the freedom of expression is not free. So therefore, she might have damned herself as a clinician, as a professional, because of this particular photo shoot. So she may have to change trajectory, and I think she completed a master's or something like that. But at the same time, it's like she may have to change her particular field, because she may not be able to ascertain a working facility that's willing to accept the controversy that comes behind hiring her.
Can I ask the judge a question, who's a lawyer? Are there any indecency laws, any in public spaces where nudity is not is prohibited? Are there any laws related to that?
Yeah, I mean, there are primarily nudity in places such as where alcohol is being served, or there are other places that may have been specifically set aside and that nudity is prohibited. We notice that, you can't get completely nude down on the beach, but there are some places like Playa Linda Beach and some of the other beaches in the southern part of Volusia County where people do. I mean, it's considered to be a nudist colony, a nudist resort. But for the most part, typically, when you combine alcohol and nudity, those things are prohibited.
Sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was going to lead into my conversation. Let me hear your rest of your question, though.
Oh, so the fact that FAMU is public property, and she, Dr. Stark is saying it was artistic. Okay, yes, I know there are people who wear thongs on the beach, yes, but in totality of what she was doing, she was naked. Yes, she showed her butt and covered her breast, but she was butt naked. There's no qualms about that, right? So legally, can FAMU even come after her legally? Because to me, honestly, I come from the school, you do something like that. Two things. You don't play with your mama, and you don't ruin your mama's reputation. Not even my reputation, but your mama's. So is there something that, because I think her degree should be taken. That's me. And some people, my husband's like, oh, that's too hard. But you have to sometimes, send a message that this is not okay. So in a public place, could FAMU perhaps maybe take some legal actions against her for being nude on public grounds or private property, maybe. I don't know. What is there something like that that could possibly happen?
Every school, at least I know among HBCUs, has a code of conduct of what is expected of their students. And there are certain things that they're prohibited from doing. Otherwise, there are penalties associated with it. I don't know what FAM's specific code is. I would assume, though, in a general sense, that they do have a code of conduct. And I would also say that while they probably can't take her degree from her because she's
Okay.
earned that degree, and that's what we call under the um, it's under the 14th Amendment. It's due process. It's she has
Okay.
a right, a property right in that degree. However, they can impose penalties for the conduct itself. They could defer the actual issuance of it. They could put a hold on her transcripts if they chose, and certainly they could impose a fine if that's within their code of student conduct. So there are some things they can do in that respect. And of course, the thing that is you got the issue as relates to FAMU on the one hand, but as to the young lady on the other, one of the things that she does, in this age of social media, this particular act will never be forgotten. So she'll be coming back for her 50th year class reunion, and people will remember her for that more than they remember her for anything else that occurred on campus. And you got to ask yourself, what does that mean to you down the road? What effect does it have on your potential employment practice, like you said earlier? Or in her case, that she's a counselor, what effect is going to have on her ability to have clients? What effect is going to have on her? And like you also said, Dr. Tanya, um, I grew up in an era, and I'm the old guy on the panel here, but I grew up in an era where, like you said earlier, don't embarrass your mama, don't embarrass the family name. And I would venture to say, I don't know where this young lady's from, but I would venture to say if she's from a small town, they are reading her the riot act, and they will be reading her the riot act for a long time to come. Because again, the question is can she do it? Yeah, a lot of things you can do. You can do just about anything you want to do, but there are
Right.
consequences for that decision that comes about. And I think that's the key thing here. And so, I've seen a lot of rattler expressions throughout the course of the week. Two of my daughters are both rattlers, and both of them are like off the chart as far as talking about how they felt about it, and they thought that it was disrespectful. Now, of course, I heard Dr. Stark say earlier, would anyone take such a picture at the iconic statue of Dr. Bethune? Well, certainly we will hope not. But I mean, there have been some things that happened. I recall back in the early 2000s where there was a young lady that was a queen. I believe she was either Miss BCU or Miss Senior, and she actually posed nude in what became some video that got released, and it wasn't supposed to be released during the time, but it did, and it got back locally, and they ended up removing her crown from her because they said it was a violation of the student code. And that's the kind of thing. Now, yes, has she graduated? Yes, she's graduated. She'll get her degree at some point, but she'll probably have to pay some type of penalty. And whether that's a penalty that's monetary, whether it's a delay or deferral in when she can get it, or on the other hand, is it her reputation that's been soiled? Maybe not among the Gen Zers, but among the whole bunch of the other groups. She's going to be dealing with that for a long time.
And that's the point that I made. It's because like the Gen Zers and the people of our ilk, we may hold her to a negative light, but you got to look at it. Her generation does not. So when she,
My only thing, Dr. Stark, is that Gen Zers are not going to be the ones hiring her for her gigs.
that is true. All right, that is absolutely true. And I know from I have a close friend of mine, her son, so having a bit alpha. We all know how they act. All right. Danced across the stage. Other than dance, nothing provocative, just did their sign, danced across the stage, or whatever the case may be. And he has to write in a letter of apology for disrupting a traditional ceremony in order to receive his degree. So I'm 100% understanding what Judge Grimes is saying, is that her degree may be deferred, all right, to the point that either she have to write a letter or they just may hold on to it. They can't keep it away from her, but at the same time, they could delay it to prevent her from being successful in the field. So I don't think she gave a whole lot of governance into understanding what the aftermath or the blowback would be for in her freedom of expression. But I think when she gets to the point that she's our particular age, there's not going to be a whole lot of people who are going to hold that against her.
I agree. I agree. Go ahead. Well, what I wanted to say is this. All right. I'll grab the mic for a second, right? All right. So I don't think people think that this is going to have consequences. I honestly don't think it's going to have consequences. It might be, but we don't even know what she wants to do with that degree. I went and got a degree, and my degree did not align with my profession, right? So we don't know what her career aspirations is. It looks to me like she wants to be an influencer, and she's taking the right path towards that. And I think that she will get to where she can apply that degree through that channel. But we also have to understand that most of these young folks that we're seeing out here are helping to shape society, right? With what they're learning from the social world, and they're going to be the ones that are going to evaluate. So when she goes to her reunion, I'm pretty sure that's going to be inconsequential because this thing is acceptable within their culture. It might not be with mine, but my values are a little bit different from theirs. And even extending into millennial, my niece is a millennial. This sort of stuff does not bother, and she's a generation above the Gen Zers, right? So we got to put it in the context, the limits of permissibility within these groups to see if it's going to have a negative impact. Yes, she might not be able to go into academia if that's her choice, but it doesn't look like that's what she is intending to do. And if she's intending to be an influencer, well, she made a really good move with that. That was strategic, right? She has a degree to fall back on.
Still talking. Right.
Right. Of course, it was as a. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
If you look at media, she's still communicating with people. Like one of her tweets was like, "Oh my God, they eat me up on Twitter, y'all," and and then she gets 500 more comments, and then she said, "Oh, they tripping, y'all," and she gets 500 more comments. So this is, I think this is. I mean, I think the degree is one thing, but I really think that someone's going to reach out to her because although Dr. Stark and Dr. Earl only saw her hair. That's all they saw. They didn't see anything else but her hair. But somebody else saw the nice body and gonna put her to where she wants to be. And then other people will see her hair only as well.
Well, here's the thing.
I want to say this.
Dr. Wilson, you're on
please.
mute. Dr. Wilson's on mute.
I want to say this. All right. Okay. Yes. I saw her hair. Okay. All right. But
that's all you saw.
From Dr. Earl's standpoint, that a little caveat, a little background history about Dr. Earl. He used to work with the 69 Boys and 95 South. So
now it makes sense.
Freedom and exploration. Like, listen, I looked at it and I was like, yes, her hair is on point.
Right.
I loved it. I told you, I personally loved it. I just wish we had consulted with someone. Right. We could have gotten her and everything.
As a former promotional manager, he may see the artistic expression.
Yes.
Seeps out a little bit more than others.
Earl always surprises us. But see, here's my thing. And I want to point out something. There was 2 comments that came up. One said her generation is broke. So they don't even have the ability to invest in her. And the other one said, does those comments that she's getting, does it equal cash?
No.
So it
doesn't equal cash, but it's going to equal to something in the future.
Yeah, but here's the
Well,
thing.
it does equal cash if she's on Instagram. Like if you get enough likes, you get enough views, or whatever the case may be, they can turn into monetary compensation. So, like I said, you know what? It could be the platform. It could be the initial start with her name put out there in order for people to follow her. Because we got to also understand that, like for a person like Cardi B, all right, she didn't come on the rap scene. She started off as an Instagram influencer. And because she was an influencer, she put out videos that people like, and she made comments that people can relate to. It translated once she put out that first album, that first single, that population that followed her on Instagram naturally gravitated to her record. And then we start seeing, then she put out more music and they supported her, and then it grew over the years. So this may be like Dr. Earl said, this may be a stepping stone for her, or Dr. Flint, I should say that maybe her stepping stone for her to become a influencer. Damn the degree, okay?
But Cardi was talented. I've been through this girl's page, and they are dragging her. She's not that talented. I'm sorry. She just isn't.
Well,
but I do agree with you. It's all about influence. But real talk, though, I want to go back to what you said about Gen Z not really caring. Well, I just told you about my team. They aren't having it. They aren't having it. And that's a real indictment on us as parents. That's an indictment on us as society that these kids, it's almost as you, in a sense, say they don't have any morals. There's no moral compass for them anymore. And that's, I think, is an indictment on us. We lost them somewhere along the line. Yes, we should be free to express ourselves, but when does it become, expression becomes a problem that you have to give so much of yourself just to make one point that may or may not benefit you in the end.
What if they actually figured it out and we're the one that's lagging?
Yes.
What if they figured it out?
There's a fine line between being a stripper and Kim Kardashian. All right, there's a fine line between the two.
Oh, those lines are actually, they're probably the same.
But see, here's my thing. I know we're talking about our generation judging her.
Correct.
But here's what I've learned. Those people that are egging her on, are they likely to be the future employers to be able to offer jobs and opportunities?
No. We are the future employers. For example, if Dr. Williams is interviewing her, nah, girl.
Wait a minute.
Now, if you say Dr. Stark and Dr. Earl interviewing her, was like, hey, wait a second.
But no, I totally listen, if this pans out for her to become an Instagram star, then I'm all for that. But it's just the way she did it. Like at the end of the day, it was nudity on a private at an historically Black college where people died to fight against these negative stereotypes against us. There's other ways. Like I told you, the video of her, with the Angela Davis thing going on. I love that for her. But
let me ask you this
the
question.
nudity is only going to get you so far.
Which one received more reviews or liked?
You're proving my point. No, I totally know how this social media game. It's a game. I know how it works. But the point is, what are you willing to sacrifice? Because you have, like, we can even look at it like this. You have so many talented artists. I mean, they can sing, dance. It's like basketball. Only so many people can become a basketball star. Only so many people can go to that next level. So to let that be your starting point, that you hope you're basing it on a might. That's a lot to sacrifice, in my opinion. Is all I'm saying.
connecting these dots, right? That from here to point B, right? Oh, she did this and this is going to happen. Listen, in a transparency moment, right? I am not supposed to be a PhD based on what I did. Boy, there's a lot that happened when I was younger.
Don't start telling secrets, Earl.
And I was
but nobody knew what you did, though, sir. Nobody knew what you did. That's the point. That's the difference between you and her.
But that's pre Instagram and social media area. Though.
Hold on, no.
I still don't think you do what you were doing on social media.
I agree.
You know, social media is pretty. Come on, you know it's pretty.
May I finish my thought?
Yes, go ahead. Sorry.
So I was predicted to be a colossal failure based on the hijinks and the things that I exposed myself to, what I was exposed to, the growing up in New York City, being a truant, all of this, right? That is documented, right? All these things where I was not supposed to be because I heard from everybody telling me that you're no good, you're going to be this, you're going to be that. I did not let that end up being a self-fulfilling prophecy because I always knew, right, that, okay, I'm not a stupid person. I can figure life out, right? Eventually I did. Got me to be in my 30s to figure it out, right? But eventually I did, but I did not follow those self-fulfilling, those prophecies that were imposed on me, and connecting those dots because in my life, there was a kaleidoscope or a spectrum of dots that had to be connected for me to get to where I am, right? So we keep looking at like two dots. You did this, and then you're going to end up being that. You know, that young lady has a spectrum. She's got a universe of stars that's going to connect her to where she needs to be. And I believe that she has the fortitude to be successful in whatever it is, based on just looking at the photos that I see and her activities online.
Those photos.
Yeah, the photos. the hair.
The hair. I actually looked at the red bottom shoes. Yes, girl. Come in. Show out.
But see, I'm just stuck on the fact that, again, and this is just for me, I'm just stuck on this. I think the fanfare, oftentimes when I hear people fanning people on and pumping people up, they don't have the means, they don't have the ability to do anything for them other than gas them up. And so all of these people that are telling her, go ahead, be you, do you, I don't.
Think about it. That's your wingman. That gives you the self-efficacy to do those things. Yes. They don't have to have the capabilities. All they need to be is your wingman, and they will give you the self-efficacy. It's not a group efficacy thing. It's a self. Look, if you put wind behind my back, right, I can go sailing, right? And that's what she's doing.
Yeah, girl. But I will say this also. You've seen, and I've seen lately, some of our graduates are now doing photo ops, taking photos and stuff like that. Where there's pregnant women that wants to show their body, so they take off their clothes and hold their breasts so you can see their stomach. That's almost to me the same as what she did as well. Like she
exactly
covered her breast, and her stomach was out. And personally, I don't like that. And I had a baby and I don't like that. But anyway, so they have these pregnancy pictures that's just the exact same thing. So my question is it because she was at the HBCU, is that different than the pregnant lady holding her breast? And because nudity is if you show your breast, right, Doc? Right.
Yeah, she only had perceived nudity. She didn't we knew that she was naked in actuality, but in the actual photo shoot, she was not naked.
Dr. Stark is
so she was wearing a thong. I didn't see a thong.
Oh, that was a disappearance. You got to look real hard.
So you mean to tell me that one little string determines whether you're naked or not?
I'm just saying. You said there was nothing. Because I just told you people wear thongs at the beach.
Like if we saw her, we knew that she was undressed. All right. We knew that she didn't have on clothes. Just like when we saw like Beyonce when she was having the twins and stuff. She didn't have on no clothes. She didn't have on no string or nothing to perceive that it was a thong or whatever the case may be. But we took that as artistic. Now we look at this girl, we say, oh, that's holistic. All right.
I think artistry is in the eyes of the beholder because
well, first of all, you did it under the cover of night, so you knew it was wrong. A woman
of highlights in the daytime.
No. There's this thing in the great state of Florida called lewd and lascivious that she did not want to follow up on her. All right, so she didn't want to be out there presenting herself.
So she knew nudity was wrong. But my with the pregnancy photo, that's in the studio. Usually, that's in the studio. Moms would tend to have breasts covered, belly out, something on the hips. But we saw bottoms. We saw an apple bottom. You know, I've never seen a pregnancy picture with an apple bottom. I've never seen that. So to me, yes, it's different.
Arkeel, straighten up your face.
I'm just imagining this apple bottom. That's all.
Somebody asked a question whether or not it was.
Judge was trying to say something. Go ahead, Judge.
Somebody asked a question: was it a problem because it was done on the campus? And I just think that it added to it because she graduated, but I ain't quite so sure what was the message she was attempting to send by doing it in front of on the campus with the name emblazoned and of course in the front of the mascot. What message was she attempting to send? And maybe I'm a little tone deaf and I couldn't quite hear what she was saying.
It was for clicks and likes, Judge Ryan.
It was what?
For clicks and likes, as the kids would say, clout chasing.
That's it.
That's it.
For what it was, I can't remember there was a long tweet that went with it that kind of said the reason why, like I was here. I don't know, started from the bottom down here. Hey, had to throw that in there.
You started from the bottom at FIU too.
Right. And
you did too.
And here's the thing: she probably did take a picture at FIU, but because it's this historically Black university, it's bigger than. I mean, at Florida State, we had half naked people running around. I mean,
right.
But Dr. Flint, here's the thing.
That wasn't posted though.
If this had happened at Mary's statue, I would be livid.
And so
I'm being honest with you. I would be livid because
and you put that point out. I'm glad you said that. So
we know that ain't sexy. y'all laughing. It's not that it won't be done. It hasn't been done because it ain't sexy.
You know what? Can we
let's be honest?
Okay. Could it possibly
the snake is sexy? That is sexy.
It's nice. It's nice.
Okay. We all established that.
Denim is very nice.
We don't need Mary Bethune looking down on us, fighting us while we posing news at the base of her statue.
I can't with you, Dr. Stark. That's hilarious.
Without overthinking this, can it simply be that she chose that location because it's an extension of the Medusa thing that she's going on the snake?
Oh God, Earl!
Right?
No, Earl, no, you read too deep into that. No, Earl. She graduated from FAMU. She's a rattler. It's a snake. She got the snakes on her hair. Come on,
it was an opportunity.
Yeah. I totally agree. It would have been great had she just worn a costume. It would have been fire. I think, in my opinion.
Right.
I got what she was trying to do, but sometimes more.
We value, like I think one of the issues that I see, and I'm going to make a lot of people mad. We value like statues and stuff. Like, okay, everybody's saying I cannot believe they did on this beloved. Beloved Rattler, Hicko Chester, beloved Mary McCall.
That's because you didn't go to a HBCU.
And that's what I was going to say.
And that's exactly. We don't have no association, no fixation, no.
I've seen
none of that.
Actually, I hear what you're saying. It's bigger than the statue. It's the school. It's the school's name attached to the statue.
We don't have all that. We can.
I had worse at my college. Much worse at my. Oh my gosh!
If she had that black rose in her hand, it would have been on.
Hey, Patrice. they feel like we would be just equally as disgusted if they was at the bottom of the Seminole statue with the horse and stuff, or Bobby Bowden at the end of it. Like, we wouldn't have felt that particular way.
We wouldn't have cared
Right?
nothing about that.
So check this out. Check this out. Earl and Arkeel, they have a question for you in the comment section. They want you to give your comments.
Oh, they want to be funny.
So
I like the cat.
In your past, I hope my past don't define my future, because my past was full of shit, to be honest. All right. Listen, there was a lot going on in my past that you wouldn't define me as a Dr. Stark as of right now. Okay. So I want to comment by saying this. All right. I met Dr. Latrice Flint in my early career, my undergraduate years at Florida State University. Okay. I did not like this woman. She was that one student when the teacher said, okay, well, we're gonna conclude class today. Do anyone have any question? Latrice would be the one who's like, oh, I got a question, and let's go back to chapter 1, chapter 2, and allow the class to extend more than an additional hour than the class originally supposed to extend. I did not like her. And it was funny that years later, her and Chester Wilson were the two people who was on the panel who was interviewing me for a position at Bethune-Cookman. And I said at that panel, I said, hey, I know you. And she said, yes, you that guy was in the back of the class who kept telling me to shut the hell up. So, do your past play an indicative to your future? Yes. I want to say yes, it does. All right, but like, how much of influence does it have? All right, because I mean, it could have went the opposite direction, that Dr. Wilson and Dr. Flint was like, you know what, he's not a good fit for us. Let's move along. All because of her hatred for me for when I told her to shut up in that class many years ago. Okay, all right. But what I want to say this: growth is never easy. Growth is never something that's going to happen, overnight. Something that you just have to involve with over years. You're going to be faced with trials and tribulations that cause you to grow. Originally, when I went to college, I had no desire to get a doctorate degree. At the end of it, because of a lot of things that changed that happened in my life, I went to school at Florida State to get a criminal justice degree, and I had a job as a U.S. Marshal. 9/11 happened. Because of 9/11, it put me on a hiring freeze. Then 9/11 was lifted and stuff. I got hired again. I was hired and fired because we went to war. So I had to change and pivot what I was doing in order to be where I'm at today. And then 10 years after entering at Florida State, I had the opportunity to sit in the room with Dr. Wilson and Dr. Flint, who were interviewing me. It could have been easily that this individual remembered me from undergrad years, and for me telling her to shut up in those classes. And she said, you know what, you're not a good fit for us at Bethune-Cookman. Go find some employment someplace else. And that's the concern that I have for her. If she into academia world, whether you believe it or not, as large as we like to believe it is a very small, close-knit community. And a lot of the ways that we are able to move up in trajectory and in growth and in position and stuff is because of the people we know, and less because of our personal accolades. All right. They hired me on. We had 5 wonderful years at Bethune-Cookman. We made a lot of changes. We made a lot of positive things that happened. We changed the program around. We went from a program that was leaking in retention to one of the best programs at the institution because of our effort. But if she wanted to be petty, or she remembered a photo that I took when I was in my youthful exuberance, she would have been like, no, you're not a good fit. Go play someplace else. All right. So it all plays a role.
And here's the thing for me. We are now dealing with the World Wide Web, which is a catch-all. So whatever we do in this time, whatever we say, it's never going away.
It's
And,
not.
and for me, and maybe she doesn't want to live a life where she's going to get a husband and have children and I'm going to change and do this. Maybe this is her life. And that's okay.
But may I address this? May I address that thing, your post, no matter how bad? Going back to, but before I even do that, going back to what Chester said, Brother Wilson said, yeah, you know, what you do, there is a history, right? A footprint. But some things become inconsequential over time. When I remember I was at dispute resolution at UCF. I had a job over there. And the big thing was the red cups. Oh my gosh, you got a picture on mine with the red cups, right? Well, this is all new back in 2010, I think, right? But you know what? Red cups are inconsequential now, right? It doesn't carry the weight that it does. So as society progresses, these things become more inconsequential. We look at history at the internet now, what we're doing now, but we got to remember there are some young folks that are going to be leaders where these things are not even going to matter, especially when they get into their careers, you know, further on. But I do want to, somebody did ask about this comment here. Your post, your past, no matter what. Well, this is one of those, to me, you know, cautionary tales, right? And cautionary tales are predicated on fear. So you're going to fear me into not doing this, right? So your past, no matter how bad it was, does not define your future. The choices and actions you make today will ultimately define what you will eventually become. Wait a minute, let's go back a little bit. I use the past to navigate my future, you know, my space. Let's put the brakes on that for a second, right? Make the decisions that you learn from your past and apply it in present so that you can live the life. When we're learning from it, we're not really, it's not as cut and dry as make the decisions to learn. No, that's an organic thing, right? To learn. You're not really making a decision to learn. You're just learning as an intrinsic process of that whole whatever it is that occurred. So these cautionary tales to me are, you know, kind of baseless. But as it applies to the young lady, right? Well, she certainly is navigating her this new frontier in her life based on what she's doing now, and I think that she is going to be doing really well. And you know, someone mentioned that she's got a lot of negative comments. Well, somebody that worked in the record business, there's no such thing as bad publicity. Take it all. Take it all and ride with it. Now, we don't know how long she's going to be on this trajectory. We don't. But she is strategically doing something that many people want to do but dare not do because of these respectability politics that are in place. But she's actually charting her own path. And there's nothing wrong with that. Unless
somebody just asked, what if it was a man instead of a female?
Uh-oh.
It wouldn't be that socially relevant.
Wait a minute, that's my.
Are you talking about with the Medusa hair?
No,
exactly.
I'm taking
you didn't think costume?
I was making a rain.
I honestly don't think a male would have done that.
But what if he did? What if he did though? So
I'm sorry.
Honestly, if it was a male, we would be talking about the Brittany Griner getting 9 years in Russia right now.
They're gonna talk about my naked man. Oh, yes, y'all.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing. For me, I think it was degrading. Not only the school, but the uniform. You know, because you're talking about graduation pictures. It's no different for me than we had this, and unfortunately, we had this incident where there was an alpha who took an inappropriate picture.
Oh, they do that all the time, Dr. Wilson.
Hey, watch your mouth now.
I'm sorry.
85 to the day I die. But anyway, the issue, get him, Dr. Stark. I mean, Dr. Moore.
Don't get me, Dr. Stark. I'm agreeing with Dr. Flint all day, every day on that.
You outnumber him. But here's the thing. I remember when that picture came up, when that young man took that picture in a pantsuit and some heels. And to me, it wasn't about his sexuality. It wasn't about him expressing himself. But you disrespect something when you make those decisions, something that other people fight for. And for me, I really take to heart that I purposely chose to go to a HBCU. And when I think about all of the adversities and what people fought for to go through them, and even the bad rap that we get today, you didn't help that. And you would not go to, you wouldn't go to UPS and disrespect the uniform. You wouldn't go to Pepsi and disrespect the uniform. They'd fire you, and they fire you without thinking. And so why would you who we educated supposedly, who we gave all of the chances that you've been giving, coming to this
And money. She was
right,
giving money.
right.
No.
Why would
You
you
received money. You didn't give money. The difference between FedEx and UPS and all those places like that, let's be
It's
honest.
the uniform.
We gave you money when we got our education. All of us still paying for it. Or most of us are still paying for it.
Oh, no, she was saying she got lots of scholarships. I'm just going by what she said.
Okay. So, but that's what we also understand this, all right? The difference between FedEx and FAMU is it's an institution of learning. It's an institution of hierarchy. It's an institution of freedom. It's an institution for expression. We can't pick and choose what expression we would like to see.
Wait, hold on a second, right? All I want to say is this, right? They shot a high-level porno at the library at my college, right? It was either Deep Throat or Debbie Does Dallas, one of them two, right? And you know what?
I'm asking for a friend. What university is that?
I'm having difficulty hearing you.
I'm asking for a friend. What university is that?
And when I
go ahead, Earl. Go ahead, Earl.
So when I say that I've seen much worse, right? I have, and I went to a PWI, right? So I'm trying to wrap my head around this. We talk about these precious memories and what the university meant to us. Well, what did it mean to the undergrads that went to what did it mean? I didn't feel any way about it, honestly. You know what I mean? It was just students doing what students do, and that wasn't the worst of it, right? It was just students doing what students did. And you know what? Nobody bothered them because they respected autonomy and agency. Now, I don't know how they were able to film, but they also did film the Billy Joel video there too. So maybe that kind of.
Okay, so you know what? I think I found the root of the problem. I'm going to get my license today. I'll get my counseling license today.
Okay. Here we go.
So there are 6 of us, right? And 3 of us don't see it as a major problem, and 3 do. Could it be theoretically that the 3 that don't see it is because we're not from HBCU? Did I say something just now?
I think you hit
that might be. You're not invested.
No, we're not. And you know what? You laugh, but that's a truthful thing. All right. We're not invested because we went to HBCU. We don't understand like what's the plight behind it. Now, if they would have did that under Chief Osceola Seminole at the Florida State campus, will we feel some type of way? I don't think me and Latrice would have a feeling one way or another. All right, but it would probably been handled with a more aggressive, heavy hand from a PWI than it would from a HBCU. But also, you got to also understand this: HBCUs has historically been acting as an adversary or opposition to that of PWIs. So for that being said, why not allow this individual to speak their voice? Because for so many years and so many damn incidents that we've been told to shut up. All right. So why not allow this individual to speak their voice? But I understand from a traditional standpoint that you don't want your campus defiled or defamed or sodomized or whatever it is you want to look at it when you look at her taking a picture in front of that snake. We don't have association with it. We don't have any governance or any type of particular bond or association with it. So for us, we're looking at it like no harm, no foul. We're looking at it at what's going to look like at the end of her career. You guys are looking at it. Well, you know what? You stepped on. You stepped on our name. You stepped on our behalf. You stepped on our heritage.
You just took us 300 steps back. And
correct. And I was like, I don't think so. No, not 300.
But I think your point being that, yes, if you have attended an HBCU, that HBCU is in you. That what is instilled in you, the struggle that you go through. We know that at every juncture and opportunity, there are always those who are going to take a negative impact or image of an HBCU. and they're going to use that to smear the school in some fashion, or they're going to smear the graduates of their school. They're going to tell us that we're not as good as those who went to PWIs. And so we go through the struggle even now. And you know what? I've been out almost 50 years, and yet the struggle continues. So yeah, you're right. I think you're absolutely correct, Latrice, that maybe the three members of the panel who are went to PWI see it differently as opposed to those of us who went to HBCUs, because we know the struggle that it took for us to be able not only to succeed there, but for the institutions to succeed.
And you would hear us, Dr. Stark, Dr. Flint, saying something like, I believe maroon and gold.
They say
it's about pride. If the HBCU doesn't teach you anything else, it's going to teach you to be proud. It's going to teach you to be proud.
And because somebody on here now saying that we got loyalty. I pay my dues every year. I don't know if Dr. Stark still pays it, but I'm going to tell him like.
and as a graduate of FAMU, yes, she got a degree from FAMU, but she never stayed in the dorm. She's never fallen down one of those hills. So we really don't even see her as a true rattler. Honestly, if we're being honest.
So you're saying she had to be hazed in order to be a true rattler?
No, that's not hazing. That's not hazing. That's not hazing. She did not learn that she was not instilled with that pride of being a member of an HBCU.
You know what?
Is what we're saying. Like I said, she came from FIU, a PWI, where probably any and everything goes. And she said, well, let me go get my master's from FAMU. And let me do what I learned over there and bring it here. And we say, yeah, no, sis, we don't get down like that.
So what you're saying is because she didn't eat in the cafeteria, she paper.
Lord have mercy. We got.
But hold on a second though.
Pretty much. I'm telling you, this is what the comments are saying. This is what the streets are saying.
Hear me out though. On one
this is
thing,
what the streets are saying.
Hear me out on this. I went to 3 different colleges, right? Universities. And the first
we still trying to figure out what's that first college that had that video.
And the name of the video.
That's my point. That's the one I had the most loyalty to, right? Now, all jokes aside, though, that was the one that I had the most loyalty to. And the last college is one that I had the least amount of loyalty. But I have lots of loyalty, very loyal to my where I did my undergrad year because that was my formative years. Made a lot of friends, and and so. Yeah, they did do a porn there, right? But that was
somebody Google Earl. Somebody Google Earl.
I wasn't in the porn. I wasn't in the porn. Don't Google me.
Hey, but I'll tell y'all this. Guess who has surfaced? Dr. Jan Bower has surfaced. She writing comments.
Oh, listen to her.
Because she understands where we're coming from. She did.
Jan has surfaced. She said she's a product of both. And I am not mad at this young lady. So you know she was coming, right? You know she was coming.
Who tested?
Dr. Jan Bower, one of our other group members.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Jan.
I'm not mad at this woman. I'm more concerned about her financial and professional career and trajectory in the future. If she stays in academia, that's my only concern. If she chose to be an influencer, a rapper, or whatever it is outside of that, then that means that there's a lot of leeway. There's a lot of ground to be made on her end that will not negatively look at this and say that this will prohibit her from being successful. Wow. But if she's in academia, whether as a counselor or an instructor or a teacher, yes. We see every day that teachers are being dismissed from putting provocative pictures on their Facebook and Instagram. We're seeing that individuals not being hired for text messages and tweets that they did 10 years ago when they was 12 years old. We see those things happen in the academia, in true academia standpoint. So that's my only concern. Okay. Now, if she want to do this artistic expression, I don't care about whether it's a snake or Chief Osceola. I don't care about what it is. Okay. What I'm saying to you is those snake hair extensions, they're amazing. Okay.
Yes, they were, Dr. Starr. I totally agree. I was like, oh, okay. I think I want some.
But you know, Dr. Stark, I'll also tell you that not only in the world of academia, but there are a lot of other professions also to which she's going to get that quote unquote background check, to which she's going to have to come up with whatever that code of conduct might be. It just comes with the territory.
Dr. Bowell said she'll be fine. I'm just thankful to the Almighty God that the internet was not around when I was an undergraduate.
All I'm saying is
you
that
gotta praise him right. You can't wait to praise him later. You gotta praise him right then. Thank you, God.
So listen, we gotta wrap it up because we will be going all night. Dr. Mowai, you had a comment. Go ahead.
No, I don't.
No, go ahead. You can't save it because we already trying to Google you.
No, we're still waiting to hear what university this was.
We already trying to Google you.
Name of the video, asking for a friend.
Are you on LinkedIn, sir?
So listen, I don't leave a broadcast without trying to impart wisdom into the individual. So I want to go around and give some last final words.
Let me mute my mic. I don't want to say nothing.
I want to give some last final words of pouring some wisdom into people that we talked about this. So obviously it's a hot topic in our community. What is the walkaway that we want people to know? Let's go, Dr. Stark.
Well, the walkaway for me is that if we look at a form of artistic expression from where we came from the 1960s to now, the freedom of expression of, feminism, being outspoken, being an influencer in certain degrees. I am on board with her. Now, if she's walking the path of academia, then that way I could say that I am not coincide with her. I'm not walking hand in hand with her because I know that particular genre, that particular industry requires you to have some type of moral, some type of gumption, some type of standards about you that allows you to be a professional in that field. And sometimes you are held accountable for behaviors before you became that professional. All right. Like Dr. Bowell stated, like, I am so grateful, so happy that the internet and all this stuff was not present when I was growing up, because there's a lot of things that I could tell you about in the past that you wouldn't see when you see me in the future. All right. And that requires growth. And I don't know if this generation will account for the fact that growth and evolving and evolution. Okay. Because what I am now is not the person I was at the age 19, 20 to 24. Okay. So that's my only concern for her, because although we may give her a pass, although her colleagues, her peers, or people who grew up with her may give her a pass, when it's time for her to apply for certain positions or certain appointments, the individuals who are going to be in place are people of our ilk, of our age, of our span, our generation, who may have a level of, you know what, these are things that we did, but we didn't say. These are things that we do, but we don't show. Okay. So that's my only concern for her. Now, if she's going into graphic design, photography, artistic, influencer, a rapper, or whatever the case may be,
she good.
She good.
Well, in the words of Dr. Stark, people our age will have judgmental eyes. Go ahead, Dr. Flint. What's your parting words, Dr. Flint?
Judgmental eyes. Remember, most of us grew up with he's called Uncle Luke now, but back then he was just Luke. And our people our parents looked at that as, oh, you going to y'all remember Black College Reunion, BCR and all that? Lord, I thank you. Anyway, sometimes you got to pause and thank you. But I honestly, and I think we've hit it on the nail where it's a difference. It's a different, and I don't want to say it's a different value, but it's not that serious to me because I asked the question, what if it was a male? And y'all blew off that really fast. So that means to say, based on gender as well, that if it was a male, no one would have cared. Now, does that mean that we judge women more harshly than we do males? That's the conclusion I'm coming, because I even looked at the comments and everybody's like, if he was fine, if he was sexy, nobody have a problem with it.
I just said, I said, I don't think a male would have done that. That's what I said. I don't believe a male would have done that.
I don't see why not, because Earl just did a porno in his first college. So.
That was in a room, right?
The library.
Or was it public?
The library.
I'm still asking for a friend. What university is that, Earl?
I'm sure that was in a hotel, not in the public.
The library. The library.
Okay, go ahead, Dr. Williams. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. No, go ahead. I was just saying. I was just answering a question that I pushed back. Like I don't think a male would have done it. That's all.
You give a male $5 and they hungry. You give them a pack of ramen and $5 and it's okay. But go ahead, Dr. Williams.
Let me let Judge Grimes go because he has to jump off. So
I think and all the comments have been good, but I think from the idea of, and it was stated earlier, I guess you all drew a bright red line distinction between those of us that are invested in our HBCU experience versus those who may not have had that experience. And so I think that for this young lady, she's got, unfortunately, because there are a whole bunch of alums out there that don't necessarily care for what she did, she's got some answering to do. And she may never answer those questions, but I think the key thing here is to remind ourselves that, whatever you do now, particularly in this age of technology and social media, it's going to be with you for the rest of your life. So you got to walk softly, walk cautiously, and make sure you don't do anything crazy.
All right. Thank you for being with us, Judge. I know you have to jump off. I really appreciate you.
Thank you.
Judge Grimes, I want to apologize to all these people.
Hi, Dr. John.
I want to personally apologize to people. I don't know how they act, but I apologize for them. Love you.
Go ahead, Dr. Tanya.
Oh, sis could just go back to the 305 for me. That's all I got.
Is she from the 305?
Tanya.
And he is.
That explains a lot then.
No, Tanya, what is your parting words?
She could just go back to the 305.
That explains a lot. Okay.
She had that Uncle Luke teaching upbringing.
All right, Dr. Mowat. What you got, Dr. Mowat? What's those parting words?
Got him last.
So I'm really I'm trying to process my thoughts here, right? Because there's so many things going off of what Latrice used to kick me under the table when I worked with her. And I was going to tell her, Latrice, you can't kick me under the table, right?
I know. Wait a minute. And I just tried to, and I just kicked myself. Yeah.
Anyway, I was thinking about what Latrice had said about, what if this was a male, right? And Dr. Tanya said, well, that wouldn't happen. Well, we probably didn't think that this was going to happen, right? But it kind of makes me think about, wow, are women moving forward or moving backwards in this feminist movement? Because again, going back to Wave 3, this was a version of empowerment that we see encapsulated in everything that Beyonce does, who is at the peak of the feminist movement. She moved it to Wave 4, where they're looking at women of color now, but she took artifacts from the third wave and applied it to where she is. Look at the cover of her album now. She's almost naked on it, right? All of the things that she's doing. So are we going forward, women going forward or backwards in the movement where we're condemning this lady? But the other thing too is
she didn't have the rattler behind her, Dr. Earl. That's
the
problem. She did not have the rattler. We would have had a whole discussion instead of that horse. If she would have had the rattler, we would have had a problem.
I know, but I'm trying.
The horse is acceptable, but that rattler is a problem.
I'm not trying to draw equivalence to that. I'm not trying to draw equivalence to that because, but when you think about it though, right? This diatribe goes from One, it approaches it from the nudity, and then it approaches it from the rattler, right? And then somehow they always come back together. But people are having a problem. Let's be real, right? The nakedness, the audacity of her to be naked, right? There are two sides to this that we keep hearing. One is the disrespect to the university, and the other is, in and of itself, just her nudity that we are not comfortable with. We, in society, we have a very unhealthy regard when it comes to nudity and sex. But one thing that I do want to mention, though, is that when are we going to get to the place where we stop looking at today as if it was yesterday? We always frame things. We look at today as it was yesterday. This is a different place and time, right? Let's start looking at today as if it's tomorrow and beyond. Where are we going? Is this going to have consequences? It's not. As a sociologist, I'll tell you it won't have consequences. But if we keep looking at it as yesterday, today is yesterday, we're going to see consequences. But we're in a different place and going forward. So I'll leave with that.
Good job.
Awesome. That Latrice, remember, we have to protect Earl when he goes to the church.
Earl had to bring it to a scholarly approach. He articulated that very well. To the point that I feel like, you know what? I add no value to this darn panel.
Oh, you did.
He
you were great, Dr. Stark.
As a matter of fact,
I couldn't hear Dr. Earl at all, so I missed it all, guys. I missed it.
Arkeel, to make them, you are a part of this, so take off your shirt so you can tell everybody that men can get naked and no one has a problem. Just go out. Do that right now.
Y'all just keep deconstructing stuff.
The issue is that no one want to see a male naked.
Yeah, that's Anya.
No one. I guarantee you, if it was a male posing the same way on front of that rattler, no one would have that concern. They're like, I like it or I don't like it. Let's not give it in the movement. But because her hair and stitches were voluptuous,
he gonna stay on
wow. Okay.
So here's the thing. One of the panelists asked, do we know any good PhD programs for psychology? I know we don't have any psychologists on here, but do any of you have any recommendations for that person?
Oh, you're trying to find a job. Yes, I love it.
Yes, UCF, they've got an outstanding psychology program.
So the University of Central Florida
absolutely would recommend that.
It's sent out to you. So here's the thing. And my closing remarks is, it's very simple. I posted this the other day. Don't let your ability take you where your character can't keep you. That's just simple for me. Sometimes we have the ability to do it, but our character outshines it. So for whatever, if this works for the young lady, go for it. If that's where you want to be. But if you have forethought that this is not where I want to be and that I want to do something differently, perhaps I want to have a family or children one day, or I want to teach Sunday school. If you have any thought, Earl, stop.
I'm Catholic.
I forgot to tell you, Earl's Catholic. So
Arkeel, you got judgmental eyes. Let that man be Catholic.
Listen, Earl Catholic. Earl is a producer. Earl is a scholar. Earl is an advocate for the HBCU community. Earl is an advocate for the LGBTQ.
RRKY.
Add all the acronyms along that I miss, Earl. Earl is all of these things. To this day, we still trying to figure out what is Earl. Earl is everything.
Look,
all right?
Out of all the years that we spent,
Earl is the only Jamaican person I know who loves Asian American food. It's like he's a contradictory of everything. All right, he eats more Pacific Islander food than he does his own native Caribbean food. All right,
and Arkeel, remember, half of the food that he eats, he doesn't even know what it is. So that's another stuff.
Listen, so Dr. Stark and Dr. Earl, y'all signing her?
We said again.
Y'all signing her? You on producer?
They following her on social media.
Well, listen. I will be a like. I will be a like to her link.
I'm gonna.
Dr. Earl is the one who's gonna promote in the club because he used to be a promoter. He used to be a promoter for 95 South and 69 Boys.
Y'all don't understand.
She might need some ghostwriters. That's all I'm saying. She might. So y'all might want to hook her up with that too.
Tanya,
she aligns with everything I do. I'm gonna reach out to her.
Somebody,
he's gonna reach out to her.
We have a
What
strike
you
back.
say?
Somebody
What
What you say,
said,
Chester?
somebody said, I just have to add. We don't all act like that from the 305.
I never said that. I just said that she can go back to the 305.
But you have to ask her which part of 305, because 305 got the bougie part and got the hood part. So you got to ask specifically which part of 305.
I mean, is she from Opalaka? I don't know. The Parking D? I don't know. Carroll City? I don't know. All I know is she was very excited that JT reposted her picture. She was extremely excited. Who would it be?
Not JT Money.
Like JT City Girls.
Yeah.
Oh, the City Girls. Okay.
City Girls.
She's from down south.
She's from down south, and she was saying, "Please tag Gucci Mane." So she's about that life. So now, Dr. Stark. So I'll probably follow her to see where she goes. If if JT gonna put her on, or if Gucci Mane gonna put her on. And we'll see,
the wrong business.
Yeah, so JT said,
we already established that she has my support, okay? We already established she has my support. The snake hair stitches won me over, okay? It won me over, okay?
Well, you do. Okay, so let me ask you this. So when you produce that video, is she going to be out, or you gonna get her the Medusa suit like I told you?
Listen, I am open expression. I'm open access, just like all community colleges.
Earl, I blame you.
Hey, just like all community colleges, we're open access. We do not discriminate who we accept into our fold, okay?
Well, if you need consultation on the outfit, I'll be more than happy to help. I'm a creative as well.
Hey, under the certain rules and governance of diversity, DEI, I cannot discriminate based on creed, color, or ethnicity.
That's right.
So whatever she chooses, I will let her know she is openly welcome. All right.
But you do want her music to be mainstream, so therefore you gotta compromise somewhere in there. So come on now. Come on.
She might bring publicity to my university.
Okay.
Oh God.
Yeah, that's a good night.
Okay,
hey, Dr. Earl, you still haven't established what university it is that
yes, a good night.
I'm asking for a friend. It's in the comment. I'm looking at the comment page. It say, please tell her what university you attend. Because we looked on LinkedIn, we could not locate the university you attend. And we knew it wasn't University of Central Florida.
Because then you're going to be Googling porno from the university.
We knew it wasn't University of Central Florida, so we just ruled that one out.
I need to make one correction.
Uh-oh.
The young lady asked about attending a psychology program who took the fame picture, Dr. Starr. So it wasn't someone in the comments, it was the young lady asking. So she wants to further her studies to get a PhD.
To get a PhD.
In psychology. So she's going to be joining Earl with these intelligent conversations. So
I think she's trolling us at this point. I don't know.
I thank all y'all for joining. You know I love y'all. Y'all my ride or dies. You already know.
You are so brave to put us on here. I commend you.
Listen, we're still
I
missing.
know, right?
We still missing Dr. Bower and Dr. Dixon. So it's going down when I get everybody on there.
That would have shut it down.
It's going down.
I honestly thought that Stark was going to show out more. I thank you, Stark. When I saw Judge Grimes, I said, "Oh, Jesus."
No, Stark. I love him. I love you. I
was worried about criminal implications. You know what I'm saying?
You were worried about what?
Criminal implications. You know, with with Judge Grind on the mix, because like something I say is not lawful.
Good night, y'all. Have a great night.
That you know it isn't. Wow.
Good night.
Good night, good folks.
And for all of the viewers, if you haven't checked out my podcast, please check out and follow my podcast, Dr. Wilson Speaks. Have a great night, everyone.